Good day everyone, I am Sir Jerickson Eschua and welcome to Animation 2. So before we start our session for today, may I request all of you to please bow your head as we feel the presence of our Lord through this prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So for today, we're going to discuss the different features of our Macromedia Flash with the topics such as Flash fundamentals, creating objects, working with layers, working with Flash symbols and instances, and creating the basic animations in Flash. So Flash is actually an authoring program that is perfect tool for both new and experienced web page designers who want to create expressive and dynamic web page elements. So in this module, we're going to discuss two things, which is how to navigate the Flash window and we're going to understand the Flash timeline. Other things or other topics, you may just browse the module and understand it on your own. For the introduction to Flash, Adobe Flash or Macromedia Flash is actually a program of choice for multimedia authoring projects because you can use Flash to create animations, web page components, games, applications, and mobile phone content. Using Flash Player plugin, just about every browser is available today to support Flash-based contents. In the strictest sense, Flash is an integrated development environment, while the Flash Player is actually a virtual machine for running Flash files. Basically, your Macromedia Flash is considered as a virtual machine because when we export our output, it creates a .fla file format. So, in creating animation content, Flash includes a variety of tools that you can use to draw your own graphic objects to use in your projects. Flash created vector graphics much smaller in file size than a raster graphic. A raster graphic can be a JPEG or a GIF. Vector graphics display much faster on a downloading web page and are more efficient in a method of delivering images over the internet. That's why some images is faster to upload than the others. Working with symbols. After creating a new object or importing artwork from other sources, you can turn your objects into symbols to reuse in the Flash file. So basically, anything that you place on the stage of your Macromedia Flash is considered as an object. Now, that object can be created into a symbol. There are actually three types of symbol. We have the movie clip, the button, or the graphic. So every time you use the symbol, you use an instant of the original object. So this will be presented on the other topics later on. Build animation sequences. You can use Flash animation tools to create all kinds of animation effects, from making an object move across the screen to complex animations that follow a path in action commands. You can also create animations using frames. That's why it follows the 12 FPS format for our Flash file. You can also organize your output using the different layers because the use of layers in your Flash movies is a way to organize content and add depth to your animation. Each layer acts like a transparent sheet, allowing you to view the underlying layers. So you can manage the layers using our timeline window. Next is we can also add interactive elements to your Flash file because you can use the Flash tools to create interactive elements in your movie or different actions. For example, you want to add a button that can be clicked that activates your movie. So there is the programming language is used in our Flash is actually an action script which controls the activity in your Flash. You do not need to know how to write action script to add interactivity because our Flash includes numerous pre-written script that we can apply. Publishing your movies. There are a variety of ways you can share your animations with others. Flash includes options for publishing movies to web pages, a Flash movie file, or a self-extracting animation. Okay, so how do we now navigate our Flash window? So the Flash program window has several components for working with graphics and movies. You need to take time to familiarize yourself with the on-screen elements and um, the feature can be displayed with the different technology that you use. So next, we have here your Flash window. So we have here your title bar, which displays the name and the open file. We also have here your menu bar, which helps us to reveal several commands. We also have the file tab. So the file tab here, this is your file tab, which is on the top of the work that are present in the current file. We also have here your timeline, which includes the frames, layers, and scenes that make up a movie. So basically, this is your timeline. Okay. We also have here your tools panel, which contains the basic tools needed to create and work with your vector graphics. We also have here your current scene, which displays the name of the scene which are currently working on. I also have here your stage or your movie area. This is where a movie or graphic displays where you can view a frame, contents, and draw graphic contents. This area is also known as your Flash editor. Then we also have here this gray area is called your work area. Anything placed on this work area does not appear in the final movie. We also have here your properties inspector. This is your properties inspector, which is a panel to view and edit properties of your current object. And we also have here a panel which allows you to have a quick access to options for controlling and editing your movies. Next, let's proceed to understanding your timeline. So the Flash timeline contains a frame, layer, and scenes that make up a movie. You can use the timeline to organize and control your movies. By default, the timeline appears docked near the top of the program window. If you are new with this, you just need to take a moment to familiarize yourself with the timeline elements. So let's try to see the different parts of our timeline. So we have here what we call your layers. So the layer is used to organize artwork, animation, sounds, and interactive elements. Layers enables you to keep the pieces of your artwork separate and combine them to form a cohesive image. Okay. Next, we also have here the frames. These are your frames. So inside here are your frames indicated by the black dots and the gray area and so on. So this is the length of time in the Flash movie that are divided into frames. They enable you to control what appears in the animation sequence and which sound plays. We also have here your frame number. So it's indicated by numbers such as 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. 5 is the interval numbers for our frame numbers. We also have here your playhead, which is indicated by this red square, are also known as your current frame indicator, which displays the current frame you are on. We also have the panel menu. So this is the panel menu, these 3 lines here for the panel. This allows you to customize the option for controlling how frames are displayed in the timeline. We also have here the Timeline buttons. So we have here different timeline buttons, and usually these are the onion skinning, okay, that is used for the frame and layers and movies. We also have the layer button. So these are the different layer button. We can add, we can delete, we can add um, a motion guide, and so on. And we can also have the layer controls. So these are your layer controls in which you can hide, lock, or see the outline of your objects or symbols. So that is our Flash timeline. Now let's proceed on how to create objects. Do you want to draw your own illustrations to animate? Whether you call them graphics, illustrations, or images, Flash offers many tools that you can use to make all sort of artwork for Flash movies and other projects. So you can create all kinds of original drawings in Flash. The program includes a variety of tools for creating simple shapes or complex images to use in your Flash movies. Drawings you can create in Flash are composed of lines, called strokes, the solid colors, called fills, and that fills the interiors of the connected lines. An item you draw, such as a single square or detailed image, is an object. Okay, so as I said a while ago, line is also known as a stroke, a solid color is also known as a fill, and your image is also known as your object. So drawing models. When you draw in Flash, you can use either the merge drawing model or the object drawing model. The merge drawing model is the default drawing mode for anything you draw on the Flash stage. To draw by using an object drawing model, you must turn on the object drawing modifier before you begin drawing. The object drawing modifier is available for each drawing tool, so we can see that later on. We can also have here a merge drawing model. So the merge drawing model, Flash automatically merges shapes and lines that overlap on the stage. For example, you want to have two shapes that overlap, the shape merges and you cannot separate them into the original form. That is the merge drawing models. Object drawing models is when you draw by using the object and Flash groups your objects into a standalone unit and does not merge shapes. With object drawing model, each shape you draw is a separate object you can manipulate without affecting any other object on the stage. So we have here your merge drawing model and we have your object drawing model. So to see that, let's have an example. So this is your stage. So by default, when we draw a shape here and another shape here, and we want to move this shape, as you can see, it merges. So this is called a merge drawing model. So how can we now create an object drawing model? So what we need to do is to select a shape and then click this object drawing, and then you just need to draw that and then create another shape and then just draw here, and then we're going to move this object to the other side. So you just need to move this and this. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't merge anymore because this is already called an object drawing model. So that's the difference between the merge and the object drawing model. Let's proceed to drawing preferences. It is not always easy to draw with your computer mouse, but Flash makes it simpler with shape and lines for recognition settings. Okay, for example, when your shape recognition is turned on, you can draw a rough idea of a shape of the stage and automatically cleans it for user. So I'll be presenting it later on. So aside from that, Macromedia Flash can also import graphics. You do not have to rely on your drawing skills to create objects on your Flash objects. You can import graphics from other programs and manipulate them with Flash drawing materials and editing tools. You can also reuse objects. You can store graphics you create in a Flash as symbols and reuse again through your Flash project. So symbols are actually stored in your Flash library. Any graphics you import are also added into your library. So you can use the library to track your various elements such as your artwork, audio, video clips, and buttons. So where can we see your library? Just need to click Control L to see your library. So this is your library. So basically what is inserted here are audios and different symbols. So let's proceed to using the Flash tools. So packed with tools, the tools panels help you to create and work with graphic and text objects. By default, it appears docked on the far left side of the program window. So let's identify each of your tools. So we have here the selection tool, which is also known as your pointer or arrow. This allows you to grab, select, and move items on the stage. We also have here your sub-selection tools, which allows you to have an edit points and you can adjust or change the line shape. So sub-selection tool, for example, here, and then we just need to click that. Okay, there, that's the sub-selection tool. Next is we also have the free transform. This allows you to scale, rotate, or skew the selected item. So this is your free transform. So when you select an object here and then click the free transform, you can see now the edit points here. Okay. Next, we also have the lasso tool. This is used to select irregularity shapes objects on this stage. So the lasso tool, this is this one. So when you use that, we can edit some parts of the object. We also have here your pen tool, which can be used to draw precise curves. When you click the button, you can control the anchors. This is your pen tool. Text tool, indicated by the T. Draw text boxes or edit text. We also have the line. Drawing straight lines, rectangle is used to draw rectangle shapes, or you can also use it for squares and polystars. This is your rectangle. We can also use the pencil that is used to draw free-form lines. Brush, fill color, much like paintbrush. So let's proceed to the paint bucket. So this is your paint bucket. This allows you to fill shapes or lines in the color. Next is an eyedropper. This can be used to copy the attributes of one object to another. This is your eyedropper. So when we use the eyedropper, we can use this to get the color of that object. Or you can also change the color. From this color, use the eyedropper and then put it here to copy the design or the color that is from the other object. So that's the eyedropper, and we can also use the eraser tool, which erases the part of the graphic object. This is your eraser. Okay, let's proceed. We can also have the view tools such as the hand to move around the object and the zoom to magnify your stage. We can also have these different option tools that can select with the different tool settings. So option tools can be seen on each of the tool when you select it. So for example, you select the selection tool, this is the option tool, brush, this is the options tool. You can change the size of your brush, you can change the different option features such as you can paint fill, paint behind, paint selection, paint inside, and so on. You also use the eraser to erase fills, erase lines, erase inside, and so on, and the different options for the different tools. Okay, you can use that. Okay, let's proceed. You can also have here the different colors, color tools and controls. Okay, this is your color tools and controls. So we have different features such as stroke color, fill color, black and white, swap colors, and no colors. Okay, so that is your color and control tools. You may just explore how to use this. Okay, so another feature that we can use is the different brush modes. Okay, so when you click our brush, we can have here the different brush modes. So how do we use this? Okay, So when we paint normal, it lets you paint over anything on the stage. So this includes the fill and your strokes and even outside of that shape. That is the paint normal. When you use the paint fills, it paints inside the fill area but not on the lines. So fill area and outside but not on the lines. Paint behind allows you to paint behind of your object. Paint selection, it paints inside the selected area. So when you use the selection tool or the lasso tool and you use the paint selection, it just paints the selected area. And paint inside, meaning you're just going to paint the fill of your drawing. So that's how you use the different brush mode tools. So let's proceed in working with layers. So on this topic, we're going to discuss on how to use the guide layers and creating a mask layer. So other things, you may just browse the modules and read that. So let's proceed. So when we say a layer, this is used to organize, and the bigger project the bigger the project, the more elements is likely to contain. Rather than placing it on these elements in a single layer, you may use different layers to organize it for easier location and editing. Okay, and when using your layers, it allows you to separate and name them in the descriptive name they needed. Another one, the purpose of layer is to add depth. So layers are similar to transparent sheet of paper stacked on one another, and this allows you to stack it from top to bottom. Each layer lets you see through the layer below, and the more you add layers, okay, the better the depth you create. And it creates guides and masks, so this allows you to assist with the layout and positioning of the objects and other layers. Mask layers enables you to hide elements in the underlying layer from the view, and you can create a hole as it were in the mask layer you want that lets you view the layers below. So let's proceed on how to use what we call the guide layers. Okay, so guide layers helps you to position objects. There are two types. We have the plane and the motion. A plane guide layer can help you position an object on the stage, but it does not appear in the final movie. And the use plane guide layers allows you to assist in lining up things. So let's proceed on how to use our guide layer using our motion guide. So motion guide is actually a very useful tool if you want to move one object to another place using a line. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create first your object. Okay, this is your layer 1. So you can rename it as circle, and then we're going to click the add motion guide. So click that. Okay, this will be your guide on where your object will go. So we're going to use a pencil tool and we're going to do this line so that our goal is to move this object to here. Okay, what will we do now? Okay, we're going to insert now a keyframe here. And then we're going to click on the circle and then using the selection tool, click your free transform tool so that we can see the white circle here, and then we just need to center it on the line. You need to make it sure that it's centered on the line. So that is your it should be here actually. Go here to your first frame and then move it here, be centered here. Okay, and then go to your last frame. This should be here. Okay, actually it should be here. Move it there. Okay, so you should be careful on placing the object. It should be centered on the line. Next, what we're going to do now is you're going to click your first frame on the circle and we're going to right click it and we're going to use the create motion tween so that this object will move to the end of the line. So then you just need to click Control Enter and then our object moves. So it's up to you know how to use it. So if you're going to move your object from one place to another, a character can be used on this particular scenario. So that's how you use your motion guide. Okay, next let's proceed to what we call your masking. So you can also use mask layers to hide various elements on the underlying layer. A mask is much like a stencil you tape on a wall. Only certain portion of the underlying layer appear through the mask design, while other parts of the mask layer are hidden or masked. Flash links mask layers to layers and export them in the final movie file. So how do we do now masking? So what we're going to do now is first we're going to import an image. Okay, for example, we're going to import this and then click open. So this is on our first layer. So we need to rename it as image. Okay. Next, what we're going to do now is we're going to resize this image. So you just need to get the selection tool and click our free transform. And we're going to resize our image so that it will fit our stage. Okay, we just need to resize it to fit our stage. Okay, so that's our first layer. Now we're going to add another layer. This is your second layer, and we're going to place here shape, and then what we're going to do now is you just need to place some random shapes. So here, there, here. Okay, and then we're going to mask this this object. So what we're going to do now, our goal is to get the design from layer 1 going to the design of our layer 2, which is your shape. So what happens now, we're going to mask it, meaning we're going to get what is on the first layer. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you just need to right click it and then click mask, and that's it. You can now get the design of the image on layer 1. Now, you cannot edit this because it's on lock mode. Okay, you can also actually unsee the shape. Okay, and then we can also see the output. Okay, and then when you control enter, our output will be the same for your masking. So that's how you do masking in Macromedia Flash. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have learned many things from our discussion. See you on our next lesson. Keep safe and God bless.